Hey guys, Kevin White here, PDGA number 126606, and this is my 2020 in the bag, as requested by some of you guys. So let's see what's in here. First off, let's talk about the bag. I have the new limited edition Black Flag bag by Grip and Discraft that commemorates Paul's 5 World Championships. Very, very sweet and very comfortable bag. First, let's start off with my drivers. On my distance drivers, I throw a 4-time force. I actually have a couple of these in my bag, a couple of backups. I throw the force because it's very overstable and it withstands all of the power that I have on my forehand. I have a really strong forehand, throw it somewhere between 400 and 500 feet, and it will not turn over and turn left on me. It's always got a really reliable fade. I do carry 2 different ones. First is this one here. This is a very flat 4-time force, as you can see. It actually has some ink on it because that was my 6th ace that I grabbed just this past Monday, as well as this one here, which is a little bit more domey and also has some ink because it was my 5th ace that I grabbed just a few weeks ago. So these forces have been really great for me. They go the distance, they withstand the power, they hook up, and they just go exactly where I know they're going to go. Also in my distance drivers, over the last month or so, since the Hades was released, I have picked up some Hades. I have these 2 in my bag. I have some more, of course, in storage for backups. These things absolutely bomb. Before, I was probably getting about 3 to 350 on my backhand, not really strong on my backhand. Now I'm getting right around 400 or a little more. I've started parking some holes that I once had no shot at getting at in just one throw off the tee. These things are very reliable. You pretty much know what they're going to do. I try to take them and throw them on a nice hyzer release, flip them up to flat, and they just absolutely glide. Very, very nice swirly disc, both front and back. I really like the way these look and feel. They feel great in the hand. The rim is just the right depth. And they've just been really, really reliable for me. So if you don't have any Hades, you definitely need to check these out. Although they're a 12-speed, they fly extremely well for even the slower arm speeds. So very nice pickup on the Hades. Also in the distance driver range, I carry a 10-speed 5-time Avenger Ss. And so I used to throw, before I found the Hades, I used to throw this on a flip up to flat. And now I've realized that this one has a lot more of a turn than what it originally did when it was new in the box. So the turn has came a lot, after the beat-in period, and I just take these now and I just use them for turnover shots. They can also be used for a roller. I don't throw a really good roller, so I don't use them for that very much, but I use them a lot for turnover. Still gives me great distance. I just kind of, try to throw it on a small hyzer release and just let it turn over and fade in. Very reliable disc. I really like how they feel. Kind of the same as the Hades as far as flight. A little bit slimmer rim on the inside, so it's not as much to grip. I do like the grip of the Hades a little bit better, and as far as the fade, it has a little bit less of a fade than the Hades does, but overall I still really like this disc for turnover shots, but it's just not my go-to driver anymore when it goes to backhand. I've switched completely to the Hades. A new disc that I found over the last few weeks is the 2020 Tour Series Raptor. Ulibarri Raptor, and I originally had this one, found a really bright yellow. I like throwing bright colored discs, as you will see throughout my bag, and this is a great forehand disc for a shorter shot than what I'm going to throw on my force. I can still give it power, I can give it less power, it doesn't have any wobble to it. I really like how flat they are. They feel great in the hand. They have that wider rim like the Hades that we were talking about earlier. They just really go straight for me. no matter what power I throw them at, and then have a reliable either skip, I can play the skip, or has a reliable nice just fade off on the right hand side once I use my right hand forehand. Also, I do backhand these some if I'm looking for a good straight skip shot, and so they've been really good to me. I like the Ulibarri Raptor, the Tour Series 2020 Raptor. I was not throwing any Raptors or any Ulibarri or really any 2019 Tour Series stuff because I've only been playing for right at a year, and so I have not picked up any of the 2019 Tour Series disc. But I do like the 2020 stuff. I've got some other things that are not necessarily in my bag right now that I have thrown. One of the most go-to discs in my bag would probably be this Proto Onyx. It is a Z blend. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but this Z blend Onyx has been very reliable to me. I can, now that I've beat it in a little bit, I've been able to, kind of give it a nice little pull, and then it'll go a little understable, and then it'll have a reliable fade back to me, but pretty much straight if I release it correctly. And I can always guarantee that the fade's coming back in, no matter whether I grip block it or whether I throw it correctly. As you can see, there's some good scuffs on there, and I've used this numerous times with a lot of success. I love the feel of it. It's just a really great disc, especially to be that 10-speed disc. Another disc that I enjoy throwing with a little bit of understability is the Undertaker, the TI Undertaker. 4-time claw, has the PM overstamp ghost stamp on it. I really like this disc. It's nice and flat, has a lot of pearl into the flight plate and the underside. Just a really great disc for getting a little bit of understability and a nice kind of straight fade back in. It doesn't have a really hard turn on it, or a hard fade, either way. I just really think that this is a nice disc to add to your bag that's not a really high speed, it's not a really low speed. It gives you that good reliable flight every time. One of the discs that I added to my collection this past couple of weeks that I've started throwing is this Stalker. I really like the speed on it. It's that 7-speed, fits right over the buzz, has good glide to it, doesn't have much turn, doesn't have much fade. It's just a really straight disc. I like throwing it. I'm glad I picked it up. It's that 5-time first run, and I also like the fact that her dad, Paige's dad, Wayne, has it has some inscriptions on the back from what he said about Paige, and I really think that's a cool thing that they added to this disc. But man, Discraft is killing it with these swirls in all of their plastics. Going to my buzzes, I throw a bunch of different buzzes based on whatever shot that I'm looking to throw. I throw the Big Z buzz. It's my overstable buzz. I use it for shorter shots that I'm looking for a good turn. I will actually throw it on a hyzer and make it, turn in, and it doesn't skip anywhere. It just kind of sits down where it's at. I've really enjoyed throwing this Big Z buzz and other Big Z plastic, including the Big Z Luna, and those have been really good to me. A crystal buzz is my next buzz. It's my straight stable shot. I can throw it, basically laser it without giving it much power. It just goes straight and then doesn't have much of a fade in. So if I'm shooting a tunnel shot, I can usually throw this on a just straight release, and it's turned out to be a really nice disc. It is a 2020 Memorial Disc Golf Pro Tour disc that's misprinted. I really like misprints, as you can see from some of my other plastic, but I love that crystal buzz. Then to go to my favorite buzzes, these are 10-year buzzes. These buzzes have beat in a little bit and have turned into some fairly stable to understable disc, much like my 4-time buzz that I'll show you in just a moment. But I will say that they are money. They are my favorite buzz that I've ever thrown. They are the most reliable buzz that I have. They're not too understable, they're not too overstable, they're just about right. They have great distance. The glide on them is probably the longest of any buzz that I have. I can certainly throw them the farthest. They will take the power. I've just really enjoyed throwing these 10-year buzzes. I do have some backups as well, but I love the 10-year buzz. Then the 4-time claw, the first run, I really like it. It was given to me by a really good friend of mine. I like throwing it. It is a understable disc for me for the most part, but I can use it for a little slight turnover where I don't need, say, the turnover of the Avenger. So the distance wise, I throw the first run 4-time buzz for that, but I really like that disc for a small turnover. Then to get to my putters, I have 2 4-time claw zones, extremely reliable. They are my favorite approach disc to use. I've tried some other things and I decided that these are the answer. I've got quite a few of them in backup as well. These are forehand, backhand disc. It doesn't matter what you do with them. You can throw them hyzer, straight, flat, anything you want to do with them, they are going to do what you want them to do. So I've really enjoyed throwing these 4-time claw zones, and I know they're extremely popular. My approach disc for the water areas is this Crystal Flex zone. It's very, very flat, but it's very gummy, as you can see. It was an inexpensive disc, and so if I throw it in the water around the water holes, it's not a big deal. It is something that I usually find if I do throw it in the water, but if I lost it, it wouldn't be like these. Definitely don't want to lose one of those. I've already done that, unfortunately, but losing one of these, I can easily replace it. It's not very expensive to do. I can find it in any design or whatever. Of course, this is a misprint, as I usually like to have. Then when it comes to my putters, I'm a big putter advocate, I guess, of finding the right thing that's going to fit your game. Before I switched completely to Discraft, which by the way was my absolute best decision in disc golf that I've made so far in the past year, I was putting with daggers, and I was very consistent with those. And then when I switched over to Discraft, I had to find something. Somebody sent me a Fierce. I used it, I really liked it, and then I went to more Fierce. And so I've just kind of stacked them on the Fierce. These are not anywhere close to all of my Fierce, but they are some of my favorites, so I thought I'd show them off. Nice prototype pink swirl. The swirls, man, they've killed these swirls in these discs. Also, this bleeder here, nice blue swirl Proto. And then my first and only test flight of any disc that I've ever owned. I love this. I appreciate the guy who sent it to me. He knew I would use it and get good use out of it. But I've really enjoyed using these Pierce test flight or prototype or first run. I have all of the Fierce lines. I have even tried the crystals, although I don't putt with them. But these have been really reliable to me. I know what they're going to do now. I just straight laser them into the chains as much as I possibly can. But I tell you, switching to Discraft again was the best decision that I've made so far. I hope you've enjoyed my 2020 in the bag. Post some comments, ask questions, make suggestions. I'm open for any of that. But I hope you have enjoyed this. Thanks to Discraft for making some awesome discs. Thanks to you guys for being such awesome friends that I've made throughout the last few months. And I look forward to the rest of our 2020 season and from here on out. Hope you're safe. Hope you're well. I'll see you later.